Hi, it's Dane. Listen, if you're watching this, chances are your life looks okay on the outside, but maybe on the inside there's something different going on. Maybe you're even successful, functioning, you're responsible, you're a father, mother, parents, you show up, you do what needs to be done. But I hear this all the time. People say something feels off. For me, I was disconnected from myself. I was second guessing my decisions all the time, overthinking, hesitating, procrastinating. And I just got really tired of carrying a weight that I really actually couldn't explain. I don't know if you can relate to that or not, but at some point, actually for a long time, I was asking the question, what is wrong with me? And maybe that's happened to you at some point, through whatever you've been going through or the challenges in your life. You can sense that something's wrong, but you don't know what it is. Something's off. You're missing something. Things aren't just feeling right, or things are good in your life, but you still feel like there's something missing, or you're missing something. And you develop this quiet question, what's wrong with me? And I think this question alone has kept millions of capable people really, really stuck. They just keep talking about their problems and looking at their problems, trying to think, what the hell is wrong with me? And, there's a chapter in my book called "What's Wrong with Me?" Because that was a question I carried most of my life. And I just want to say this clearly right at the beginning of this video, there is nothing wrong with you. I asked that question for years. I never got an answer. And the reason I never got an answer is because there's nothing wrong with me. So if you're asking that question, it's not a great question to ask, but I want to talk to you about the basis of that question, how that question has come up. Because we really don't want to be asking bad questions, especially when we're having conversations with ourselves. So I don't think most people don't hit like a dramatic rock bottom. Some do. I mean, God, I had so many dramatic, what I thought were the rock bottom, and then you have another one. But I think generally it's kind of a quiet thing. It just kind of builds up over time. I think people they feel unmotivated, but they're still responsible. You might be anxious and fearful, but you're still productive. Maybe you're successful, but you're feeling unfulfilled. And so what do? We try harder. We learn more. We push ourselves to prove I gotta, improve myself. They get addicted to personal development, personal growth, just push, push, push. And then nothing really changes. Your results don't change. The situations don't change. Your problems don't change. And so, of course, the conclusion you're likely to come to is the problem must be you. And so you would take a look at low self-confidence. You might have a low self-esteem, like I did most of my life, not really understanding why actually, because my own story of violence and abuse and all these different things was all blocked out till I was almost 40 years old. A lot of anxiety for me, not really understanding why. I guess I deemed myself, my identity became that I was an anxious, nervous person around other people because that's basically what was going on, and loads and loads and loads of overthinking. And so what happens, you start treating these as personal flaws instead of signals. So I didn't know that they were like the red light on my dashboard going off, or an alarm going off that there was a sign that something needed to be resolved. I just began to think I have these personal flaws, and that's kind of where I was. And I was searching for everything. I'm trying to figure out what I was doing wrong, why nothing was really working, why I felt conflicted inside, no matter how much I achieved. And the more that I searched, the worse that I felt, because basically I was perpetuating the idea that there's something wrong with me, and so therefore I got to keep seeking and searching. And I think this is what the problem is. Most people don't really realize that they're living from what I call a mistaken identity. So I don't think your problems aren't caused by a lack of discipline, intelligence, or effort. Although you would think that you have some evidence that that in fact is the case, and people label themselves. I'm not very focused. I'm not very disciplined. Can't make decisions. I procrastinate a lot. I just don't have any time. And so this is all all those what I call effects, okay, side effects, is these kinds of things that you label yourself with. And what the real problem is really how you see yourself and the identity or the inner compass that you're, kind of following. And from a young age, you pick up all kinds of ideas about who you are and who you're not. We picked up ideas from parents, from school, from criticism, from responsibility, expectations, our expectations, and of course, the expectations of others, and society's now expectations is like exasperated and blown up because of social media, these screens that we're carrying around and watching all the time. And so, listen, if you, like me, learn to survive, perform, please, or avoid judgments, those patterns actually became kind of your normal. That became my normal. And then over time, that kind of is the identity that sunk in for me. And that obviously shapes how you think. You got to really understand that your identity, your self-image, how you see yourself and how you feel about yourself and how you evaluate yourself is the lens that you look through when you're looking at things in your life, problems, opportunities, successes, failures. And so you hesitate because you doubt yourself, you procrastinate because you're afraid of getting it wrong. You overthink because you don't really trust your own voice. That was me. I mean, I thought that I had this real weakness, that I didn't believe in myself and I couldn't trust myself. I was constantly second guessing. And so it's not a weakness, although it feels like a weakness. This is a learned self-perception. That's our problem. Okay. We've got a learned self-perception and no amount of positive thinking, no amount of following people online, gurus and inspirational people, no amount of videos, no amount of courses, no amount of coaching programs. None of those things can really override an identity that's out of alignment. People think if I just get motivated, right, I'm fired up. Well, there's nothing worse than being fired up if you're going in the wrong direction and you don't really know who you are. And so what I found out was these are symptoms that I was living with, not the cause. And when I understood cause and effect, or what I call the original cause, the origin of my problems, the original sin, when I realized it was the cause I had to take a look at. And that was a real turning point for me. And I realized something most people never really hear. Anxiety is not the problem. Self-doubt is not the problem. Overthinking is not the problem. They are effects. Okay. So if you're dealing with some of the things I've just talked about, these are effects, folks. Okay. For you, if you're ruminating, overthinking, analyzing, second guessing, all these different things, these are all effects of an origin, an original sin, a problem. We got to get to the cause. Okay. There's signals that you're living from a version of yourself that doesn't actually reflect who you truly are. And for me, when I kept trying to fix the symptoms, I kept getting more stuck and staying stuck. And I'm thinking, what the hell? How come I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm reading this and I'm following this person, and I was continuing to be stuck. But then I found the cause, and when I clear up the cause, then the symptoms just started to fade naturally on their own. It's like our physical bodies. If you can find out the cause of your neck pain, if you can figure out the cause of your gut pain, then it just naturally disappears all on its own. And that's really when everything really changed for me. So I stopped trying to fix myself and I started questioning the identity that I was living from. I started really reclaiming my own clarity and confidence by starting to ask some really good questions, not what's wrong with me, but what caused me to question the idea that there is something wrong with me? And so when you clear up your identity, something really remarkable begins to happen. You don't become more confident by force. Your confidence just returns naturally. You stop overthinking decisions. You stop needing approval. You stop managing your anxiety all day long. And life just starts to feel simpler. Life is actually quite simple. Confucius said that. Life is actually simple, but we insist on making it complicated. And if we're confused about ourselves and we've got a bunch of confusing ideas that have caused us problems, life is going to continue to be hard. And so life gets similar, not because it's not that your life changes overnight, but your relationship with yourself changes overnight. And then everything starts to change fairly quickly. So what we really got to do is we got to get understanding of these false beliefs, inherited judgments, the survival identity that keeps you small. And when that clears up, your energy returns, your focus sharpens, your sense of purpose becomes clear. And I think what most people want is they just want to feel in alignment. They want to get rid of this internal dialogue that's causing internal pain or the reactions we have to our outside world and those problems and the pain that it causes us. And I don't think people like I listen. Of course, I want more success. And what I don't want though is I'm tired of taking in information. I don't need another strategy. I just wanted alignment, and I just wanted to trust myself again. Been a long time. In fact, I couldn't really recall a lot of times where I really truly trusted myself. And I had to go back actually pretty far into my youth to even find a spot where I actually trusted myself or some examples. Um, and so you want to trust yourself. You want to move forward without fear, but or in spite of fear, regardless of fear. Stop surviving, start living. And so if you can clear up your identity, then the path becomes actually quite obvious. You don't have to chase approval. You don't have to avoid discomfort because you'll feel a lot more comfortable. So there's not a lot of discomfort to avoid. And you're acting from clarity instead of fear. That's real growth, knowing yourself, liking yourself, and being yourself. So listen, if this resonates with you, and if this kind of is starting to make sense, you're not alone. People are a lot of people I talk to are operating this way, thinking this way. And you don't have to have it all figured out, but there are a few things you do need to figure out. And that's what I'm trying to do here in this video. And so I just want to remind you that there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing to fix. And you've probably misdiagnosed yourself, or somebody misdiagnosed you, and or your symptoms. And maybe somebody suggested you should do this or you should do that. And maybe like me, maybe you've been trying all kinds of different things to figure out what the heck is wrong. And you really got to just put your foot down and go, enough is enough. And chasing more information, hopping all over the place, trying to figure out a solution to this problem you have. It actually starts with how you see yourself and how you feel about yourself. So drop a comment below if you want to engage in a conversation. If you like this video, subscribe to it, turn on your notifications, share it with others, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you.